All right, all right. It's a late start, but a good start. So great evening, great evening. I'm the dynamic, daring, one of a kind diva Denise Silas. Welcome to another Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Glad to have you guys here as we continue our series on women of wisdom for Women's Month, just celebrating and honoring women who are living life ahead of us. That's how I say it, or our seasoned saints. So I'm excited to be able to invite my aunt on today to share. But before we have just a couple quick things we're going to do, we're going to also hear from my niece on tonight of a project that she's doing as well. So don't forget to put in the chat where you're tuning in from as well. So let's go ahead. Let me share my screen here. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Okay. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. This is just not my night. I'm stumbling like this is my first time at this, but that's not the screen either. Here we go. Yeah, okay. Y'all seeing everything I see? Okay, great. Slideshow here from the beginning. Whew, we done made it. Okay, here we go. All right, we're gonna just do a couple things. Oh Lord, I'm starting making a thing. There we go. Hope I'll start screening. Okay, good, good, good. All right, here we go. Empowered by DS. I'm excited. Empowered by DS. I am the DS of DS. Denise Silas, excited that we are a company focused on empowering women to be the best version of themselves. We're grateful to do that in many different ways, from the experiences that we create. Mark on your calendar, and I'll talk about this in a little bit. The women of our Decide tribe, we have on this Thursday our second book club meeting for The Mountain Is You. If you missed it the first time, you missed a great meeting. So we have that this past Saturday. We just had our second Divas dinner and dialogue for the year, which was an amazing experience where we did charcuterie boards. We'll have our next empowerment workshop coming up in a few months. And then we do our subscription box. I'm working on that right now. So for those that are in my tribe that are experienced and higher, they get the subscription box. But then we also have women who have just signed up to get that quarterly subscription box. And our theme of the box is obedience over outcome. So I'm excited about curating that and all the amazing things as a part of that box. And then yearly we do a variety. So our whole goal is always to service women from their faith to their family and their relationships, their fitness and their wellness, their fun, and then their finance and their careers. So we do a variety. So you definitely want to stay connected and stay tuned with that. And our Decide tribe has different levels. If you want to learn more about it, all you have to do is text back to the number that you get the text from, the word tribe, and it'll tell you all the ways you can stay connected. We still have our Facebook community. We still have this as an opportunity where you don't have to be in our membership, but then we have a lot of great things that are available for those who are in our membership as well. So we're excited to connect women, continue to create a community that empowers women to be seen, heard, empowered, and encouraged along their journey. So these are the women who are a part of it. And then we have added some more. So I'm excited about the women who are continuing to join us. So these are the chartered members who they will forever be able to have perks just because they are chartered members. So they are our foundation of our community. So I appreciate them and we'll continue to celebrate and honor them as well. So this is the information about our book club on Thursday. So it's Thursday at 7. If you're in the tribe, you're going to get a text with the Zoom link in it. You don't have to register, but it is via Zoom. So you don't have to be a part of the, inside the Facebook community as well. It's a great conversation. I love the fact that Keisha also give us journal prompts that we can use. She shares those initially in the Decide Tribe suite. so you have the opportunity to look at them beforehand, but she definitely will share them there. So we want to continue to grow, and this is another avenue that we added this year to help grow as well. This Saturday, as I mentioned, was our Divas Dinner and Dialogue. So our next experience is our trip to Birmingham. We have a day away excursion to Birmingham. I am so excited. I'm so excited. We haven't even had it out there for a month, and we have sold over 40 seats already. So we have just about 10 seats left. Our Supreme Diva seats have sold out, and then we have probably about another 10 seats that we'll be selling. So don't miss out on your opportunity to have an opportunity to get away for a day, experience Birmingham, and then you don't have to drive. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to plan nothing. All that's going to be there for you. And I promise you, you'll have a great time. Our theme is Escape to Empower Me, and our attire is going to be purple camos. So those of you who know, I'm not sure why it looked like that. Oh, because I was trying to put sold out. So we still, like I said, have some seats left. Is you have to pay your full price now, no longer with our payment plans, but you can definitely still get registered. If you're in the tribe, remember you get $50 off if you're in the experience or the elevate level, and $100 off if you are at the elite level. This is our second to our last experience this month as we celebrate and honor Women's Month. So tonight you'll be able to hear from my aunt. I'm excited about that. And then next week you'll be able to hear from Mother Rucker, who is a part of one of my church members who I just adore as well. So I'm excited. I hope that you are gaining a lot from what has been shared with us. I know I have. I've been inspired to do some different things, and I hope that you're taking notes and being inspired as well. Don't forget to learn and to stay in contact with us. Visit our website, Empowered by DS. Remember that I have I also do coaching. I do public speaking, couple things, opportunities. So grateful for, and I would love for you to be in prayer with me about. I've been someone from Birmingham sought me out and want to do my time management and chaos management training with them. So I had to send them a proposal. I've created a one-day workshop for them. So be in prayer with me that from what I have offered to them and the value that I have charged them, that they accept the proposal. And then if not, that they give me a counter offer and I can create a program to fit that budget for them. So in this new space of having to train and stuff is not new to me, but having to create proposals and give a value to is new to me. So just pray that I would continue to own my gifts and my talents and not be and price them at a price that's going to reflect what I am offering as well. So please, please, please be in prayer on me. I have a meeting, my second meeting with them next Monday to do the follow-up. So excited about that. So as we continue to align, become, and conquer, make sure you are clear about where you are, what God has called you to do in this season of your life. Be courageous enough to become that person and stand in being bold in what God is calling you to do in this season of your life. So that's a part of me doing this whole proposal. So please align with me on that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to introduce you guys to the soon-to-be Dr. Alexia Hamilton. She said, put some respect on her name. So Lexi, we may forget, so don't hold it against us. So I'm gonna take it off share for right now and bring you up here. I'm gonna sit you down and bring Lexi up.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Let's see. There we go. So Lexi, I'm gonna bring this back up too. Do you think they need to see the flyer? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
you
QR
can.
code is on there. The QR code is on there. Let me bring that back up. So I invited my niece, when she asked, can she share? Because she's in the process of finishing up her qualifications for her doctorate program. So first of all, we're so excited about that because in my mom's legacy line, she is our first doctor. So we're excited about that. But I have a lot of women that I'm able to connect her with. So we thought this would be a good opportunity, especially since we do focus on all aspects of a woman's life. So Lexi, share with them what you're looking for, what you need, and how do they get involved if they're open to it.
Okay, so hello everyone. As my aunt Denise was telling you, my name is Alexia Hamilton, but I go by short for Lexi. I am currently pursuing my PhD in health science, and with that, I had to basically do a dissertation, a research project, basically conducting a study that basically focused on the barriers assessing breast cancer for preventive services, healthcare services. And so I came up with the idea of basically focusing on health literacy. And so within my study, I am asking women of all ethnics, ages 18 to 60, living in the United States and has access to some type of electronic device and speak English if they will participate in my study in hopes to basically help bring awareness to the disparities that women basically are forced with and see due to having lack of health literacy and knowledge on breast cancer preventive services. So if you all are open to basically participating in my survey to help me conduct research, and this research will be published. So researchers after me could use this to add on to research and just basically one day, actually, this research help bring light to women basically encountering different barriers with health literacy to basically utilize preventive services. So if you all are open to conducting, basically participating in my study. The QR code, you can scan it, and I also will put a link in the chat. If the scanning the QR code is some trouble, I'll just put the link in the chat, and I will greatly appreciate it because this is a big part of if I will become Dr. Alexia Hamilton. So I appreciate it and thank you all in advance. And please keep me in your prayers as I do have to eventually present this to a whole committee board to be able to become Dr. Alexia Hamilton. So thank you so much. And thank you to my Aunt Denise for helping me through um, this whole journey within my PhD program because she linked me with a great person that has helped me throughout my process and helping me currently through my process. So I want to say thank you to you, my Aunt Denise, for helping me throughout this process.
You are so welcome. So proud of you. So couple questions for you. When do they need to complete the link by?
So you can complete it up until next week Friday at basically 11:59. And it takes approximately 2 minutes to complete the survey.
So is the survey the way that we're helping you, or is the survey signing up to help you?
So the survey is the way of actually helping me. Because once I retrieve your data, that's when I go in and do analyze the data to present the data to the committee.
Okay. Okay. So it's just a matter of you needing people to do the physical survey.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay. I guess I misunderstood. So that's perfect. That's perfect as well. Let's see. So you said anybody that can be local between those ages. Does anybody have any questions for her? Can they share this with other people?
Yes, you can share this with other people as well.
Okay. Stop the share. Does anybody else have any other questions for her regarding this? Let's see. Does I have any? Oh, that's something else. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat.
I missed the age you said. What age did you say?
The age is ages 18 to 60 years old.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I was gonna do it, but I'm just a little bit younger than Denise.
So if they're if they're older than 60, you needed to stop at 60, right?
Correct. But you
Okay.
can always share it to individuals that are in that age realm.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Pam, you know a whole lot of people that fall into the age, even though you don't. You can share with some folks. With some folks. Okay, perfect. Well, wonderful. So we're excited for you. Excited that it's a done deal, girl. It's a done deal. You done made it this far. He done brought you this far. He ain't gonna leave you now. He ain't gonna leave you now. So awesome. So you put in the link in the chat.
Yes.
Perfect. And I'll reshare it. I'll send it out also as a follow-up, you guys, in a text to the 662 number as well. So wonderful. All right, Lex.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me go back to my share as well. Yay. I had mentioned to her to even consider looking at different women's ministries. So if you're a part of a women's ministry, if you're part of an organization of women, if you're a part of, just your good girlfriends and your network, just please share it so she can hit her goal. I think it's 250 is the goal.
The goal is 250.
Yes, so that she can complete this task, because we going home with whatever we going, yeah, because that's what we gonna do. Yes, so congratulations, very excited for you. Let's see. Okay, all right here. So now we are here to y'all meet all my family members tonight. So the sister, I'll tell you guys, the sister that I honor every year for Ovarian Cancer Awareness, this is her youngest daughter. So those of you who have supported me throughout the years in honoring my sister, now you're able to also invest 2 minutes of time in supporting her daughter in achieving this goal. So I'm very excited about it. So Vera, we're going to read your bio, but first I just want to share a few. Okay. I want to share my little video that I did real quick with it as well. Let's see how well. There we go. Oh, look at you, came right up. Okay. Let's see. Do it this way. And do sound already. We'll have a lot of them, but I did create a video for you. I even stole some videos from some previous text. Let's see. All right, here we go. You laughing at yourself?
Yeah, that was awesome, Denise. Thank you. That was a very nice presentation.
You are so welcome. So let me bring your stuff up here. All right, for everybody. Please spotlight it. Yes. Okay, here we go. Before I do read the your bio, I do want to publicly say, so you guys, Vera is my mom's only sister and her youngest sister. So I would say when we lost my mom in 2002, when I tell you my aunt had showed up for my mom's legacy, like making sure my nieces were taken care of, would be there to support us for whatever we were doing. So I just want to say thank you so very much for what you have done in us losing my mom, but you being there to just support us as our aunt from not only me, but your great nieces and nephews as well. So I appreciate all that you do for our family and my mom's legacy. So I did want to say that to you. So my aunt, when people said, I thought y'all was sisters, people always say that to me. So,
Yes.
so Vera had previously been employed for almost 30 years as a senior corrections social worker. Number 3, for the Wisconsin Department of Corrections. As of September 25th, my wedding anniversary, 2025, she is retired. She is certified by the state of Wisconsin and has also completed the Leadership Development Training Series offered by the state of Wisconsin as well. She received her Bachelor's of Social Work degree with an emphasis in sociology from the University of Wisconsin in Whitewater, Wisconsin, and earned her Master's of Social Work degree from the University of Loyola in Chicago, Illinois. Vera was appointed by the mayor of Racine to serve on the Affirmative Action Human Resources Commission, where she served 3 terms. She was also a member of Community Reentry Corps Second Chance Committee, in which she collaborated with community partners, including probation, parole, and the police department. The University of Wisconsin Parkside Gateway Technical College, Workforce Development Center, and potential employers to ensure the person in our care, the PIOC, a smooth transition back into the community, and also to prevent the PIOC from reoffending. As family liaison for Community Child Care LTC, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Vera provided guidance, counseling, and developed and implemented a child and family support group. She also advocated on behalf of and linked low-income families to community resources that they might be eligible for. Her goal has always been to assist others in reaching their highest potential and level of functioning. This includes completing assessments, listening, assisting with developing realistic goals, identifying strengths, and linking the client to community resources that may be available to them. This also includes adequate housing, volunteering to join support groups, promoting education, encouraging to learn new skills, pursue licensure and certification. Most important, to take care of their emotional, mental health, learning to forgive themselves, and acknowledging the harm that they cause their victims. So before we jump into our questions, there is one thing I want to ask you about, some pictures that you shared. Because I love and I could put them together for you. I know your, the order of your pictures, but you gave a variety of pictures. So this, when I said how it started, in the middle, and where you are. So what would you love to share with us about these pictures that you shared with me?
Okay, so when I begin to talk about my journey, the picture of me, I must have been about 5 or 6 years old. That's the age that I was when we first made the trip to Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
The picture in the middle is a picture that I took while I was at work in the lobby area of the Racine Youth for Offender Correctional Facility. And the picture with me and the young man, who was my fiance, that was at a Christmas party earlier this year.
So that clearly where it started. So what year was it that you guys came to Racine? So my family is originally from Mississippi. So Meridian and Enterprise is the part that my mom's side family is from, and my dad's side is from like the Tupelo area. So they made the journey all the way to Wisconsin, and I didn't realize how far it was until I was going to Florida and past Enterprise. They used to have us in a car, you guys, driving from Wisconsin all the way to Meridian, Mississippi. Yes, it's 8 hours just to Olive Branch. I'm going to tell y'all that. No, it's 9.5 hours just to Olive Branch. So when you, so that was a few years ago. Let's just say it was a few years ago. many years ago. And so I noticed a lot of the pictures that you gave me had grandma in it. So I pulled a couple things from when we celebrated her 95th, and this picture down in this corner right here of all of you guys. I love this picture. That's like one of my favorite. You guys, my mom is in the top right corner, and this picture always reminds us the difference between y'all ages. So I'm sure she was a bossy big sister because she was a bossy mama, i.e., her nickname being Boss Lady. So, what would you want to share about these photos?
Okay, so that was a picture one day that we were all together. We figured that it's very seldom that we can all be together at the same time. So this picture was captured of that moment. So that's the picture, the far left, I think it's your right, up in the corner. And then the 95th birthday, that was her 95th birthday party. And I believe the picture in the center was her 90th birthday.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's another picture of her 95th birthday, and then that's a family portrait right there. It must have been about, I would say, maybe about 5 years after we arrived in Wisconsin.
Okay. So I was about to say the picture with all of y'all. Grandma was fancy back then. Wow. So of course I don't know if it comes up in the questions, but one of the questions I would definitely want to address, how was the transition and how did that transition impact who you are today coming from Mississippi to Wisconsin? So do you think we address it in the questions, or you want to go ahead and answer that?
I'll go ahead. So I would have to say growing up, let me just respond to what had the most influence on me, and I think your questions will be answered. I would have to say growing up as child number five in my household, witnessing, experiencing, living life through the lens of a single mother who had migrated from the south to the north during the winter months with five children, eighth grade education with very few skills. I must have been about 5 years old at that time. So the major motivation for my mother was wanting a better life for her children than what she had. And she believed that we would have more opportunities living in Wisconsin. So
Uh,
I was,
Go ahead.
I think, and so I'm sorry. When I think about the challenges and the obstacles that she endured, it inspired me to want more out of life and to do better. That first year in Wisconsin was difficult. One of the biggest challenges for us was Wisconsin had this 1 year residency law. So you had to live in Wisconsin for 1 year in order to be eligible for welfare. So my mother, being the mother that she was not discouraged by this law, nor was she deterred by the ice and snow. So my mother was on a mission, and her priority was, in spite of all of her challenges, providing for the safety and well-being of her children. So this often meant doing what she had to do. So as a means to earn money for that first year, my mother would do laundry in her home, ironing, childcare. She also did hair. I don't know if you were aware of that, Denise.
Oh,
Mm. She had a set of curlers and a hot comb. Some of you guys can relate to that she heated up on the stove. So she would charge $2 to her customers, and she had some customers that had appointments every 2 weeks. So my mother also had card parties. Some of you might be familiar with that. So Friday nights were her nights. She sold beer, Polish sausages, and bowls of chili. Friday was her night. Can you guys relate to that song? You know, we're having a party dancing to the music by Sam Cooke. I know you guys recall that song. Well, anyways, this was the scene in my house every Friday night. During this time, there was other families who had migrated to Racine as well. And so they got in the loop. They were issued a night and they had card parties as well. There were card parties every night, including Sundays. Some of it, sometimes those card parties would last all night long. So, Janice, what happened?
I still hear you. I still see you.
You still see me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so,
You can't see me?
hold on,
You,
hold on. Okay, okay. So during those nights when my mother had to stay out all night, and she often referred to those nights and the car parties as her job. So there were times like when she had to stay out all night at her job, and she refers to my sister, my older sister, Annie D. She would take care of us. She made sure that we was fed, that we had clean clothes, and went to school. Okay, she was, the mother in our absence.
So when you think about, because the funny thing is, as you're talking about them car parties, y'all, I remember the car parties because we would go to my grandma's house often. So it's not just when she was younger. I remember them car parties when I came on the scene, and we would go visit grandma's house. Had to be upstairs, or some of those nights I remember even having to perform. Like we would sing and dance for my grandmother and her friends. So. And I'm sure that one just happened in Wisconsin. So I'm sure some of y'all on here either saw some car parties, or y'all also was singing and dancing for your grandma and them. But when you think about that as even, and I'll say, it's hard for me to say just to the questions, because as you're talking, it's making me think about other things that I think are very, very valuable and to who you have become. So, and I'll come back to it. I'll let you get to the questions first.
Okay.
So that's kind of looking back. So what is one decision you made that truly served you your life long term?
Okay, so after that first year, we became eligible, and my mother applied for welfare benefits, and we were on welfare. Um, During that time, when you're on welfare, you have a caseworker that visits every so often. And a lot of times they come unannounced just to make sure that you were complying with the rules, that there was no man staying there with you at the house, and that you had food in the refrigerator, that the house was clean, the beds were made up. That's basically what their function was. A lot of times they were rude and disrespectful and made us feel like less than human beings.
Mhm.
But we got through it. Like I said, we had some good ones and we had some bad ones. One caseworker that we had, after she got done with her investigation, she would come and talk to us. She encouraged my mother to get a part-time job. It had to be part-time because we didn't want to have any income that would interfere with her benefits. So she would encourage my mother to get a job. And as a matter of fact, she did assist my mother in acquiring a job. And she would encourage us. It was three of us, the kids at that time. She would encourage us to go to school and study hard and convinced us that we could go to college too. So when this particular caseworker came by, she always brought us books to read. She would she would leave information about going to college, about schools in the area, and financial aids. And um, that was basically what motivated me. But that first year when we were eligible for welfare, and we had some of those bad codes, some of those bad co case workers, or some of those case workers that was just in it for the money, I determined at that time that this wasn't the life for me,
Mm.
and that I knew that there was better out there. And so that is what motivated me to get into social work, because that caseworker kind of encouraged me and encouraged all of us, all three of us, that we could go to college. And so that kind of stuck with me.
Okay, I didn't even realize that's what made you choose or influence your decision to be going to social work. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Because sometimes experiences can have a positive impact on you, or experience can have a negative. So I would definitely say it's from what you're saying, you were motivated to not be in that same situation, and to see what you can do to live a different life as another generation. So wonderful. Was there a choice you made that didn't serve you the way you hoped?
Yeah, well, I can laugh about it now, but there are many of them. But as I said, I can laugh about it now. I remember one. I'm sorry. I recall one time when I came home from college during the summer, I didn't return home. I went and lived instead with the future father of my son. So My mother wasn't happy about this, and I found out that he was cheating. So I moved out from him and in with my sister. Uh, I was there for about 3 weeks, and then she encouraged me to go home. So when I finally went home, I heard it from my mother, and she wasn't real happy about it. But I learned my lesson, and we worked it out.
I bet you did hear from grandma. I can imagine a couple I told you souls, and
Hmm.
because y'all say one thing that we both come from is two women who ain't scared to say what's on their mind. So I'm
Hmm.
sure that's where my mama got it from too. So they are not afraid to share what's on their mind. So very strong, strong, confident women. I would say we both were raised by, and I'm sure my mom got it definitely from your mom as well. What did you once believe was important that you later realized really wasn't?
I guess I'm still laughing about the previous question, and that was thinking that I was in love with somebody that didn't love me.
Mm,
Um, on a more serious note, being told by my high school counselor that I wasn't college material and that I should find a job in a factory. Yeah, I received some of those very same messages. But as I said earlier, I was it motivated me. And I already had convinced myself that I wanted better out of life from some of those lessons that I learned from my mother and living at home. So I never believed that.
mm. And that's big that you said that, Vera, because your sister worked in a factory. And a lot of times what happens is people just repeat what they see, right? So whether it's grandma situation to Vera, I mean my mom working in a factory, that you still had enough to know that you deserve more and can do more. What do you think motivated that in you, that you could be better than that?
Two things first. I want to respond to the first part of what you said, and that is, don't get me wrong now. Your sister opened up the door. I mean, your mom opened up the door for me to have a summer job at Green's Manufacturing for 3 summers in a row.
Mm,
I was able to purchase a car. I was able to save money to buy clothes for college. So don't get me wrong. And as my mother did early on, sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
right.
And I did. So I worked at the factory where your mom was a manager, and I went to college too.
And no, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking, because you do what you got to do, right? My mom worked hard, and so I'm not knocking them. But sometimes people just do what they see as well. So that's what I was definitely. You have to be encouraged to step out to do something different than those around you are doing, and see and have the confidence to do it
Hmm.
um, as well. So no, I was definitely. I remember my mother always said, I don't want y'all to come home smelling like, I mean, I'm sure she probably at some point said it to you too. I just don't want y'all to come home smelling like me. So go to school, go to school.
And the second part, I just wanted to say that witnessing the challenges and the trauma that my mother experienced, the sacrifices that she made because she wanted better for her children than what she had. Her perseverance inspired me to believe in myself, and it enabled me to have the courage to step out on faith as she did. Those were some of the main motivators for me.
Awesome. Awesome. I was taking notes. How has the definition of success changed from your 20s and 30s to now?
Okay. So in my 20s and 30s, I was a single mother, and the things that were important to me was being able to provide for my son, to maintain sustainable employment, being a good mother and getting my son through high school and or college. He chose to go into the Navy. And by the grace of God, I was able to accomplish this. Today, success for me means having peace of mind, less stress, enjoying retirement, traveling, having enough income to maintain the quality of life that I'm accustomed to, and being happy.
I think we can get I see the claps, so we get a bunch of amens with that. A bunch of amens with that. It's something about the peace of mind. It's like it's a point in my life where I crossed over. And that whole peace of mind thing, I don't know if it's when I hit 50 or 52. I don't even think it was at 50. I think it was a little bit older, where it's just like, oh, my peace of mind. Like that became such a like major thing. I think even before the mental wellness piece, it's just because life be lifing on steroids, and you still just have to, Lord, just give me a peace of mind. And then sweating the small stuff, like the stuff you used to tolerate from people, like, oh, I can't do that no more. Like I just can't do that no more. So I don't know if you feel the same way in your retirement life, or in this new season that you are, or if it's just been evolving even before you retired.
Well, it's retirement is still new to me. So at one point I was thinking that by in the beginning of the new year, I'm going to look for some type of employment, part-time, that would have been. But I've decided that I'm just going to take my time. I'm just going to relax and enjoy my retirement for now.
You have a conversation with your nephew. He'll show you how to truly enjoy retirement. He said he ain't working ever again. So enjoy this time. You've worked 30 plus years, and you've worked prior, and I'm sure the 30 years don't include the other work that you did. Enjoy it. Do the traveling. Let Q take you around town, around the country. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. You'll have your season to do it. Yeah, I would say enjoy it. Come hang out with me sometime. Come on down here. Next question. What do younger women worry about today that you wish they wouldn't?
I wish they wouldn't be so focused on their image, how they look, fitting in, or what others think about them on social media. Yeah, that's about it.
That's what you said. That's about it. That's big though. And what,
Mhm.
especially when you add what social media, how others are defining what good looks like. Now, I think the balance between that is, I think you still care about how you look, but you don't have other people define, because these filters that make people think that, I hate filters, because I think that's trying to create a false image of who you are.
I agree.
So, being able to present you as you now, I'm just whatever your best version, but creating filters and using that to then create a different version of you. But I agree with you, just that whole how social media, and of course we know that social media is there showing people's best version, the best thing. We're going to delete all the ugly pictures, but also understanding that I'm going to love the skin that I'm in, right, at the same time. So having that balance with that as well. And I know you, just like myself, we, the thing of taking care of yourself. So we're so worried about what we look like, but what are we doing to take care of ourselves? Like the food we're eating, and working out. Because I know you're still avid about doing your walks and working out and everything like that. So I think that's a part of being more focused on that, taking care of ourselves, and just looking at the outward appearance of ourselves. What do you think about that?
I agree 100%. I just wish they are younger girls. I wish they would receive more positive messages and more encouragement to focus on their education and having a plan for life and executing that plan. I think it's just real important that our younger girls receive those messages as well.
Right. And getting, and I think we, as the more seasoned, the people who are living life ahead of them, how can we let our lives be examples of it? And it's not just having to talk at people, like showing them, right, how you live your life, as a way to be able to encourage them, especially what we know now of the energy level we have now, all the things, health issues you can have, encouraging them to do those things so that it can have a better quality of life and not having health issues that come at 50s, 60s and beyond because we didn't take good care of ourselves at 20 and 30s and stuff, or we focus on the wrong thing. And not even physically with that. It's like you said, with the your finances and preparing for that, where you think in 2030s you can just spend up that money, but then now at 60s, you don't want to be the person who have to go and stand at Walmart or have to make those decisions where it's not good to, who I can't stand for no 2 hours. I can imagine having to go get a job and have to stand. So making those choices. So what are ways would you suggest that we're able to impact younger women? What if you could, what would be your way of impacting younger women to start thinking more and talking more about their financial health as well as their physical health?
I think we have a responsibility to our younger daughters, our nieces and our nephews and the women in our life to make sure that the messages that we're sending them as far as how we present ourselves, the things that are important teaching them the things that are important at various stages of life. I think it's our responsibility to make sure that we're sending them the right messages and not the wrong messages, even if that means, well, monitoring the time spent on social media. Don't get me wrong, there's positive attributes to social media as well. But I think that as parents, as sisters, older sisters, as aunts and uncles, we need to make sure that we're sending them the right messages. And we need to be spending time with them and communicating with them and teaching them, because if we don't, I hate to imagine who else would.
Right, where they're getting that from. They're having to create their value system and their belief system. And I love how you said it's not just your kids, but it's your nieces, your nephews, and I think anybody you're attached to. Like, how are you an example to anybody? Where it can be cousins, it can be your friends' daughters. So I always said that it was important for me for the women that were in my circle because I knew they were going to influence my daughters as well. Right. So I don't just associate with people because of the impact to me. I associate with people because of the impact to my daughters as well, because I believe that to be my extended family. So how we then, and that's the other big thing too, teaching, we talk about the financial wellness, we talk about their physical, but even just their social skills, like showing them by example how to have good relationships with other women. Because I know you have heard it, and I've heard it plenty of times. I don't associate with women because they're messy, right? So if we're not leading and having good relationships, how do they even learn to have what good relationships look like, right? So is there any other areas that you think is important for us to exemplify a healthy, positive for the younger women that we get exposed to?
Well, I, I, I wanted to say something. Well, like I said, I was employed for almost 30 years um, in in the prison system as a social worker. So um, I was working with young men between the ages of 18 and 25. And I just want to share a statistic. Um, at the time, it was a couple of years ago, the statistic was 44% of the young men that were 44% of the men that were incarcerated in Ryak, that was the prison that I worked in. 44% were fathers, and they're between the ages of 18 and 25. So what does that say about the young women? And so I think there's more work to be done. So we need to just keep them in mind and in prayer as well.
So I'm going to push a little bit. When you said, what does that say about the women? So where were you going with that?
Well, they're not getting the right messages, because if these young men between 18 and 25 have children and they're incarcerated, who's taking care of the children? And if you think about the ages of the young women who are now parents, you have to think about the messages that they're not receiving or the messages that they are receiving. So that's why I said it's important for us to make sure that it's important, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we model the correct behavior and make sure that they are receiving the correct messages so that they would at least have a chance in life.
And I'm going to and this is a Deniseism, so you may agree with it, may not agree with it, not just you, everybody on here or people who are listening. One of the things that I have, that's why I said, what are you saying with that? Because I totally agree. I totally agree that if we're having 44%, somebody was with them making them babies, right? So, but is at what point are we teaching one? I always told my daughters, don't make a 5-minute decision that's going to cost you the next 50 years of your life, right? Make sure you are intentional, or don't just be with somebody to be for the instant gratification. And now we dealing with someone who's don't make good choices, right? So now they're in prison. Now you're a single mother because of that. But one of the things I would always say to them, the whole goal is to have one name on a mailbox. Like, the goal is to have one name on a mailbox. So be very cautious. And I know things happen, divorce, death, you think you're in love. I understand all of that happens. But when one of your value system is the goal is to have one name on a mailbox, I think you move a little bit differently. When we think about it, we're very we start to think a little bit differently. We be more protective of our time and what we're doing with others in the relationship, so that we're not put in that positions where because one of the things I didn't want to do is I didn't want to be a single mother. And I'll say this, and it's still taking the same information. And what do you get from this? This is bashing at my family or anything. I just didn't want to be a single mother. And because my mom was a single mother, her mother was a single mother. So what do you learn from the things that you did? That's not what I wanted. Somebody else may look at it the same situation. There's a different piece that they took from it that was very important to them. So like yours was education. That was very important, to not repeat the cycle that you saw before. So I agree with you. It's like, what are we doing? And even when we have a situation and we want something different, like, what are we doing to help the next generation be better or do something different? Even though we might have, it's like, learn from our mistake or take a different path than we took. And I think we got to be just open to have those conversations with our nieces, with our children, just so that we can have, this just the next generation. How can we help the next generation be better? I just think that was always the goal. How can we help the next generation be better? Because I don't want my daughters to repeat some of the bad choices that I make. But we have to be honest and open of those choices so we can have those conversations as well. So that's why I was saying, tell me more about when you say that. And we can't act like stuff don't exist. We have to address, we can't act like stuff that don't exist. So what are your thoughts with that? Or if you have any other?
Okay, so I'm just going to say this, we have to be better and we have to do better. So can we move on to number 7?
Mm-hmm. For sure. If you could sit down with your 30-year-old self, what would you tell her?
Okay, so I would tell her that, her mother loves and is proud of her. I would also encourage her to trust and believe in God and to trust and listen to her mother. I was hard-headed, especially when I didn't come home that summer. I would tell my 30-year-old self that in order to be successful in life, you have to put in the work. So I would encourage my younger self to attend college, to study hard and pursue her master's right away. That way, she would be prepared for any future opportunities that might present themselves. If she preferred to enroll in the armed services, I would tell her to just do it. I would also stress independence and being self-sufficient. These are two of the most important lessons that I learned from my mother. I would also tell her to get to know a person before she brings her emotions to the table,
Mm.
to travel if she gets the opportunity, to be confident, competent, and most of all, to be safe. Those were some of the lessons that I learned from my mother. And that's what I would tell my younger self.
That was good. You said get to know herself before she brought her emotions to the table. Is that how you phrase it, Vera?
I said to get to know a person
Oh,
before
get
you
to know.
bring your emotions to the table,
Okay.
which I didn't do. When I was thinking that I was in love when love didn't love me. I shared that earlier.
Yeah. But I think that's really get to know a person before you bring emotions to the table. But I think it's also you can't add get to know yourself before you bring your emotions to the table. I think that's still
Yeah, that's correct.
because sometimes when we don't love ourselves, we're trying to find love through other people, and our emotions come out too fast because we're trying to attach it or trying to find others to help us feel complete. So I think that's good. So I starred that. I like that. I like that. Next, what role did faith, resilience, and or community play in helping you navigate hard seasons?
Okay, so my mother planted those seeds in us earlier in life. During the hard seasons, I prayed about it and gave it to God. Most of the time, it had already been resolved. So my mother didn't take us to church. Remember, I shared earlier that those card parties last all night and sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays. However, she sent us to Sunday school every Sunday. During Easter, she made sure that we had our speeches, we had our Easter outfits, and our Easter baskets. So just recently, I would like to share that at my church, we had friends, family, and dinner. Um, I was blessed to have my son and my grandchildren sitting on the bench next to me. So hopefully those same seeds were planted in them as well.
Awesome. And it's funny because I laugh at this. I think people get into a different season because we went to church with grandma. So, and then mama almost was, the one busy working and stuff, trying to make ends meet. And that's how we went to church was with grandma. So they said sometimes the grandparents start to do for their grandkids what they weren't able to do for their own children.
Well, well, that's true, especially if they have the time and maybe they may be at another place later on in life. So
Yes. Going to Second Baptist, I remember. The original Second Baptist, not the one on Lathrop, the original Second Baptist, from being over grandma's house over the weekend. What is something you're proud of that people may not know about you? I'm ready to hear this one.
Okay, Denise. So, excuse me. I find it rewarding making a difference in the lives of others, as a caseworker once did in my life a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm proud of my mother. I love her. She is my role model, and I am grateful for her vision, her wisdom, her perseverance, and courage to step out on faith for the sake of wanting better for her children than what she had. Her journey was one of hope, persistence, and it instilled in me that I could do anything because she had already paid the price by wanting better for her children in life than what she had.
Awesome. Oh, that's special. And you guys, some of you may know, some of you may not know, my grandmother is now 97 years old, and so grateful because we can sit have conversations with her. She remembers all kinds of stuff. She always tell me about you and Whitewater, Vera. But we're just really grateful that we can have her to have, she remembers, um, whenever she says Vera to me, Nisi, sometimes I forget. I said, me too, grandma. Because I don't want her to think that's, such a, like she's now changing. But the amount of stuff she remembers and the strength of her conversations and her prayers is just amazing. So it's awesome to hear you celebrate your mom and the fact that you still have her here to be able to celebrate as well. That's a blessing. That is a blessing. What does What does living well mean to you now that you're in this stage of life?
So knowing God is the Father, and as you just said, being blessed to still have my 97-year-old mother and her wisdom in my life.
Mhm.
Having peace of mind, being able to give back by helping others, being healthy, having relatives and friends who believe in, trust, and support me, traveling, being happy, and enjoying life. I can say I'm truly blessed.
Awesome. You enjoying it looking like you in your 30s. So I have some good genes. I got some good genes. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. um, so the last question is, what is one sentence of wisdom you would want to leave the women watching tonight? What would you want to leave? Your last words of wisdom.
Okay, so I'd like to encourage them to love yourself, to keep God in your life, be happy, and to be safe. So by me sharing, my story about my mother and her experiences and the influences that it had on me, I am hoping that you've been inspired and empowered. And I want to say be encouraged and thank you for listening.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's see if anybody have any questions or comments for Miss Vera on tonight. Look, they weren't just having car parties in Wisconsin, Vera. They were having rent parties and stuff as well in Chicago. Let's see if there's any. Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm going back to see if there's any specific questions or statements. Do you ever have the desire to move back down to Mississippi, Vera?
Um, well, I know Mississippi, well, not Enterprise, but maybe Meridian or Memphis or some of the other places, Jackson or something like that. But I just recall, and my reality was that one of the reasons why my mother wanted to leave Mississippi was because they had hard times. It was just her and my mother. It was just my mother and my grandmother and their mother. They all lived together in one house. There's also a cousin that's here. We call her Sweet. Her and her mother lived in that house too. So my grandmother's husband was in the military, so he wasn't in the home. And so my grandmother had a farm. And so that meant that my mother and her did the bulk of the work around the farm in order to make money and in order to live. But my mother and my grandmother and my great grandmother, who all lived together in that house, they were blessed because for those of you that live in Mississippi, are you familiar with Highway 59? Are you familiar with that highway?
Is it
Well,
further south or is it closer up here? Is it further south?
it's the section runs through Enterprise, Mississippi, and like I was sharing about the blessing, when they first built that highway, they had to move my grandmother's house.
Mm.
So they moved my grandmother's house, and they got paid. I mean, the government had to pay them, and so they moved her house and built her another. So they were blessed that way. But times were still hard for my mother growing up. We say up here, we refer to it really being real dark at night. We call it like Mississippi dark. And I know my mother was saying that she used to share with us how, when she leave the house in the morning, it was daytime, but oftentimes when she came home at night, it was dark. And so she was young then. And so most of her childhood experiences were traumatic for her and they were challenging for her.
Mhm.
So she caught the first thing smoking north.
And I remember that Mississippi dark when we would come drive down there and it was like black, like you couldn't see past your hand. We'd be outside, we would ride, and they would tell us, go out, get something out the car. I used to be terrified to go outside that house because it was just pitch black and you just see nothing forever. So yeah, I remember. And it's amazing. So I don't know how it is in other places, you guys, but a lot of people from Mississippi went straight up to Wisconsin or Chicago. Some people, they said, went kind of the Carolinas way. But literally in the Racine area, there's a community of people that know each other from being down south. And we called it, I grew up only calling it down south. Like it was never, I hated coming down south. I'm gonna tell y'all, I hated coming down south. Right. One, because I was never raised in the South. So I was born in Wisconsin. I was used to the 4 seasons. Like I knew about the 4 seasons. So that 100-degree weather, y'all be outside down here, I still haven't gotten used to it. So I would hate to come down south because it was so hot. I just hated, we had to always boil the water. It was just so much trauma to me trying to be happy here down south. But I do understand and appreciate it. That's where my grandma's roots was. That's where, our legacy started, was down here in Enterprise in Meridian, Mississippi. So and you never would have paid me to think I would live in Mississippi as an adult, but God had a different plan. And here I am in Mississippi as well. So does anybody have any questions or comments? A lot of people said this inspired them, Vera. Thank you both for a lovely evening of reflection. So glad I could be there tonight. Also, Miss Angela, and there's another Angela Rucker that was on. She would be our guest on next week. So I'm excited for you to hear her story as well. Well, you couldn't even see her hand in front of your face. I know that dark Mississippi dark ain't no joke. No street lights. I'm like, how do you know you're supposed to turn here? Like and it's still crazy like that. That was great. I enjoyed you. Really good conversation. So yes, thank you for taking the time to get on and reflecting. It just makes me think I need to sit down and have more conversations and learn more about our roots in the back in the day. I remember the parties, so those car parties and the parties downstairs at Grandma's house. I remember all that. But just learning more about this just makes me think there's so much that you want to make sure you learn before you start losing generations, and then all the history get lost in that as well. So thank you very much, Vera, for your time on tonight. I'm excited that you share with us on tonight. And let me just see, as we close up this evening, you guys don't forget to do the survey and share the survey. I'm going to put it in our Decide Tribe groups. We did that, no questions. And if you want to learn more about our tribe, you can just text back the word tribe to learn in all the different ways that you can stay connected with us. And you follow us on all of our social media platforms, the Empowered by DS platforms. You can use that everywhere. Also, I said that, stay connected. And remember, empowered women empower. So if I can say anything that I hope that you learned for the conversation tonight with my aunt, is for us to make it our goal to be able to encourage and share the younger women, as we talked about, showing them love, speaking positivity into them, encouraging them on their financial journey, their overall wellness of what it looked like in the long term, like not helping them to see the long term, not just where they're living currently, and being courageous enough to expose them, drop those nuggets in their mind about finances, drop those nuggets in their mind about just making sure that they're getting their checkups. Like, how can we be those people? So if you didn't pull anything from that, definitely, I hope you pull that. So remember, empowered women, we empower. I forgot to load the conversation from last night on, but last week. So I'll be loading both of them on. So encourage people to check out our Empowered by DS YouTube platform. So where we have all the previous conversations. So, and just to inspire others to be the best version of themselves. So I thank you for getting on tonight and hope to see you on next week. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the night. Thank you, Vera. Appreciate you.
Okay, you're welcome.